Numino is a term which is basically given by Descartes. He talks that what you call God is actually not perceivable through the senses. So something which is not, perceivable or palpable, then why do we have to spend time in understanding this very entity? And don't we think if we do that, we'll be wasting our time? So therefore, he talks about doing a separation between the entity which cannot be perceived by the senses and the things which can be perceived. So therefore, religion in Western countries, probably in Western countries, has been put separated from the state, because if they bring religion being a part of a state, then probably things will be very chaotic.
As far as I know, everybody is educated, and we've read in the books that we should be cooperative, we should be helping others, we should not be violent, because we've been taught to practice non-violence. But in spite of having had all these things, in spite of having been taught all these things, why do people fall prey to such politicians? And everybody is trying to show how supreme the religion is. This is the only fight.
Right.
This is the only fight between people, that they just want to show that our religion is the best one, our
Right.
religion is the most supreme one. We are living in India, and India is a secular country, and secularism means having people of different races, different religions, and this is what makes India a beautiful country. This enriches the cultural heritage of India. And we've also seen that these people are living, sometimes they are living peacefully, sometimes we have also seen the riots taking place between them, because of this different different ideologies, different faiths and beliefs, and religion. So sometimes they become very fanatic, and then this leads to some kinds of riots, and sometimes uh, you know political mindsets, and some politicians also take advantage of this. They just fuel their you can say their religions. In the name of religion, they just start instigating them, and because they don't give too much attention to this, they take that for granted, and they fall prey to these people's intentions. Although they are lining their own pockets, they are taking advantage of this situation. But this is what we have seen in this country. So the topic for today's discussion is secularism a curse or boon for India? What do you think about it?
Okay, India is always a country of gods. People say India has millions of gods, which means people express their different faith, their different beliefs, and their different cultural practices. And specifically, all of them consider their gods to be their specific gods. In fact, communities in India are identified with their specific cultural practices, which are somewhere associated and affiliated with their predilection towards their specific gods, right? But never a time we have seen that these people are coming against each other on to making this very proof that whose God is more supreme, right? However, politicians have come into this very domain and have made this very entire religious process or an issue quite derisive or a decisive political tool. Right.
They use it as a political tool.
Yes, they use it as a political tool. So usually what we find that politicians are using it as a political tool, and they try to divide communities on the ground of religion. Now comes a question: if politicians go on along with this very idea of dividing communities within the country on the base of religion and their cultural practices, then what is the possible recourse to basically uh, just get away with this? Because at the end of the day, we as a country have to survive, we have to flourish, and this is not possible, especially under this very harsh, forced situation by some specific politicians. So comes a question thereafter whether secularism could play a pivotal role in making or doing arrangements of all religions together in such a way where neither a community having a specific religion process has any issue with the other religious community, or many people consider it as a threat to India, specifically the identity of India, which basically believes in monotheism, right? So all these things have to be seen in the line, and let's see how it goes.
Mm-hmm. So the first question for the discussion which I picked is, tell me, has secularism truly protected religious harmony in India, or has it deepened communal divides? Because we have seen that sometimes we don't really we become intolerant, and we cannot see other religion living with us, right? And sometimes we don't agree with them, or as a result we become hostile towards them.
Right.
And this has many times led to some unpleasant consequences, right? So this is what I'm asking you. So tell me, has secularism truly protected the religious harmony in India, or it has deepened those communal divides?
Okay, I think it's really difficult to exactly take one position in terms of concluding whether secularism has been proved as some successful tool to basically manage the entire religious culture of this country, or has been miserably failed. So, for example, we have different eras and different phases of life. Sometimes we could probably say that yes, secularism has really done good more than it was expected, and it has really done a remarkable job, especially in making the countries working on a harmonious rule, right? Where people were living together in a more cooperative, a mode. For example, Vedas is that specific era, or Vedic is
Vedic
that
era, yes.
is basically specific era where we can certainly say that yes, secularism was then working and in operation, and it has really achieved that very mark, which was basically told to be, because secularism was basically used and introduced just to ensure that people from different religions should not be colliding, okay, especially on the ground of their cultural beliefs or the traditional belief. So we don't find any such instance or any negative event or any communal rite, especially during Vedic era, that was solely done on the religious ground. So we can say in that way that yes, secularism really done a remarkable job. So on this front, we can say, but now we have to compare 21st century with the Vedic, age. I mean, today's 21st century is far different to what we basically were, especially in the Vedic age. Because today we are talking about Vedic age. Many people call that it is the right time to go back to Vedic age. Why? Because they are not satisfied with this 21st century and the kind of mechanism that basically these politicians basically try to follow, and on the basis of it they try to govern the country. So it is now clear that today's secularism or secularization as a tool or as an instrument is not failed, but in fact it is the failure of intention of politician leaders who misused this very powerful tool. Okay, this because secularization or secular is a very powerful tool. It can never be separated from any country's constitution. In fact, it is one of the most substantial part of any particular constitution. Because if you talk about what secularism is or secularization is, we find that secularization simply means people to feel that they are not superior to other one. Second, people to learn to cooperate with others cultural practices, and in this way they live in a certain harmony, which is basically important for a healthy society, obviously. So secularism has not been applied in this case. In fact, it has been applied as a divisive tool, which means to use secularism in order to divide community within, in order to just create a certain kind of voting booth for the respective politicians from their respective constituencies. So that's how it is used. So I won't say that it has been completely failed right now, but yes, if I compare current secular practice in the country with the Vedic age, because which was also a secular practice. We won't find the word secular, by the way. So my viewers should not be, misunderstood with this very wording of mine, where I said that there was a secular, mechanism, or a tool specifically in Vedic age. It was not a word there, but everything you find was quite related to secular practices, because then people were not divided on the ground of caste. People were not divided and segregated on the ground of their cultural and practices. So it completely, accepted that it was nothing but a secular practice, right? Secular practice means to give each of people their comfortable, their comfort, their space to practice whatever they want. So on this front, I think I find a big massive, uh, gap. That's what I can say.
As far as I know, everybody is educated, and we've read in the books that we should be cooperative, we should be helping others, we should not be violent, because we've been taught to practice non-violence. But in spite of having had all these things, in spite of having been taught all these things, why do people fall prey to such politicians? And everybody is trying to show how supreme the religion is. This is the only fight.
Right.
This is the only fight, between people, that they just want to show that our religion is the best one, our
Right.
religion is the most supreme one. Can you tell me, because this is not the not something which we want to talk, but I'm just asking you, why do people not realize that the most important religion, if there is any, is the humanity? Actually, we should be worshipping humanity. We should be helping each other grow. And if we keep fighting in the name of religion, then I think we are stopping others from progressing, and we are stopping ourselves from progressing. So in both the sides, there is no win-win situation, because we have created some kind of hindrances for ourselves.
Right. Right.
So why do people not realize this thing, in spite of having been taught, in spite of having read all these things? Because everything is written in your religious books.
Right.
And I don't think that any religion or
Mm.
any religious book ever teaches you any such thing which can instigate you against people, which can provoke you. Every religion talks about humanity. Every religion talks about bringing peace. So then, why do people not realize this fact?
Uh, I think it is just a lack of access to the basic, uh, foundational,
Mm.
course
Mm.
of scriptures.
Mhm.
Because what we read today, or what we know about scriptures,
That is
is
somewhere adulterated, or
no, we don't.
that is wrongly conveyed
No,
to
no,
people.
we don't read adulterated.
Wrongly conveyed.
Instead of it, we basically try to understand things.
Or we don't apply, I think.
No, we understand things,
But we don't apply
only the imposed
beliefs.
belief,
Mm.
or the imposed or the forced version of. For example, if I am to read a particular scripture, then I would probably read it, and I will have my own personal substantial conclusion at the end of reading. So I won't say that someone has done a forceful attempt on me to basically grasp that specific meaning, or to comprehend that specific meaning out of that two line. No one has said it, and what I did it to myself. So that will be a fresh and a pure reasoning, or pure understanding about the scriptures, and from there I'm be more confident. I be more confident about the applicability of the scriptures. But what exactly happens, which is very opposite and antithetical, that is, people don't read scriptures. They basically listen to those gurus, mostly, who maybe guru. I don't find
we don't have time. So instead of reading,
instead of reading, they listen to people, but they forget that listening to people also means listening to someone's spices. So I have my religion, and who knows that how much I'm tilted towards my reason, that I cannot even just compromise with a slight compromise, or with a slight incongruency with my scriptures. So how can I afford any negation against my scripture? So these are the situations, these are the prevailing situation. And that's what is happening with most of the people. Most of the people, this is because we have lost this very habit of self-reading. Rather, we have developed to understand things on other people's, understanding and their preachings. Yeah,
We don't give it a second thought,
yeah, we don't give it.
and we don't even do critical analysis.
Obviously,
Whatever.
critical analysis comes later only when you have your own personal reading experience. And we are doing critical analysis.
That's what we don't want to do. We don't want to do reading.
Yes.
We are dependent on other people to, and we listen to them.
Raja Ram Mohan Rai is also known as the father of the modern India. Why? Because he was the one who appreciated religion as well as he criticized religion. According to him, the section of Vedas which is not applicable, according to me, is that promotes superstition. Superstition that promotes beliefs which has no reasoning base, right? So he was the one who understood, the scriptures in two different ways. The part which should be terminated and should not be promoted, because if it is promoted, it will only build up the practice of superstition, and which will be really difficult for the country, as India, had been quite a superstitious country, and the benefit of it was just totally, extracted by those outsiders who came and ruled over us. So that's how we defined everything.
So, next question which we have to discuss is, tell me, is the Indian model of secularism, which respects all the religions, stronger or weaker than the Western model, and that separates religion from the state? If we talk about Western, religion that separates religion from the state, but in India, the picture is quite different. So, what do you think about it?
Okay, this is, I think, uh, not easy, but one who knows the foundational understanding about India's scriptures, then will definitely try to comprehend that India's religion is entirely based on myriad of practices, which means in India we worship different gods in India, right? So we have equal respect for everyone. Now, giving respect is very important from our perspective, from our standpoint, because we understand that there is a certain divinity which basically lies over us and has a complete regulatory authority in his hand, and he tries to run the entire world, right? So, therefore, we see everyone equal to us. For example, the scripture or the lines of Shankaracharya, who basically talks about Advaita. Advaita simply refers to the very idea of oneness, unity, which means even an animal, I may find the soul, the same soul which lies in me. So this very concept somewhere brings people united, right? Closed. They actually put each others in a very close proximity, right? So you cannot disregard, you cannot defile people just because of someone is following other religion. And therefore we have this very practice that we cannot do that, and therefore we as a state in the constitution have recognized religion as a major part of a society, because religion is the only particular you can say source or a practice which or from where morality can be really practiced. In fact, it is the only school of morality or ethics. Without religion there cannot be morality or ethics. So religion is that springs morality and ethics from it. For that reason we use it and we consider religion as a part and associated part of society or the state. Now comparing it with the Western,
Yes.
we understand that their people are somewhere very much affected by their different philosophy. For example, I want to name one Descartes philosopher who is 19th or 18th century philosopher. He talks about he talks about clearly on one thing that our our senses can perceive things which can be perceived, and beyond it, which you call supernatural power, is unperceivable. So something which is unperceivable, something which is not approachable, something which is not acceptable, I think is worthless to even talk about. And that's what he calls in his own terminology of philosophical term called Numino. Numino is a term which is basically given by Descartes. He talks that what you call God is actually not perceivable through the senses. So something which is not, perceivable or palpable, then why do we have to spend time in understanding this very entity? And don't we think if we do that, we will be wasting our time? So therefore, he talks about doing a separation between the entity which cannot be perceived by the senses and the things which can be perceived. So therefore, religion in Western countries, probably in Western countries, has been put separated from the state, because if they bring religion being the part of a state, then probably things will be very chaotic. This is the one reason. And second probable reason, that secularism as a separate practice from the state is very important and the relevant one, because in Western countries there is only Christianity. There are not other forms of religious practices, which is basically seen quite in a majority role in India. So secularism we have to adopt in that sense, because it is our need, it is our necessity, because we the one who govern, I think, thousands of different cultural practices, which is not seen in America. So I don't think, or they don't think, Constitution, especially of America, doesn't think that they need to consider that a specific religion should be a part of the state. But we have to consider religion should be a part of the state, because we have the responsibility of these diversified cultural practices happening under the one roof. That's a reason.
And it is important to give equal respect to all the religions.
Obviously,
Because people feel hurt when their religion is not respected,
right.
and they feel that we are the one who are ignored, right?
Obviously.
And we don't feel ourselves to be safe in this country if we are, our religion is not respected. So this may cause some kind of, religious riots as well, because if they think that their religion is at threat. So they should be trying to
Right.
Protect it. Right?
Obviously.
The next thing which we have to discuss is, tell me, do political parties misuse the idea of secularism for vote bank, as we have seen in many cases that they just go and just talk about secularism. They make hollow promises, and they always keep the religion in the front, because this is how people sometimes they feel that somebody is there who's caring for us, who's trying to protect our religion. So how do they use secularism for as their vote bank? Basically, we are talking about political parties.
Every political party in India knows through their consciousness that if there is anything which could really multiply their benefits, is that to talk about religion or either caste. Because these two issues, which always have been burning issues in the country,
they function as a trigger.
Yes, they are the most triggering elements of our democracy right now. And it is not, it is being a recent experience, it has been for thousands of years. So if you read the philosophy of Gautam Buddha right after the Vedic age, and thereafter Shankaracharya, and then Nanak Sahab, Kabir, and then Ramakrishna Paramahansa, Swami Vivekanand, and then regional leaders and frontiers such as Raja Ram Mohan Rai, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, even Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, Jyotirao Phule, you would find a common uh, agenda that they want to counter. In all of them, it was either religion or caste. So religion and caste had always been, or have always been, the major, burning or the concern of India's society. So therefore, politicians find it quite a bait to all their constituencies, that when they show it to their constituencies by making it such kind of communal violence, or by doing a certain thing on it, so they might attract a certain constituency, and it happens. So every time when the election comes, you may perceive the very kind of practices start uh, occurring. For example, we have Bihar election around the corner. I think the voting has already been done, right? Yes. But before Bihar election, we could find that too much of caste and religious issues were circulating, and they were on in the part of discussions on different platforms, including news channels and multimedia channels.
Yes.
This is one reason. Second, if they don't talk about religion, then what else is left in their on the table for discussion is the development, the real developmental issues.
Yes.
No one talks about the real developmental issues. So these religion is always used as to sideline the real concerns of society, such as unemployment issue, such as medical issues.
Yes.
I mean, such as
Medical
poverty, which
facilities,
is
yes.
yes. So these are the general
Even education.
even education, right? So if you keep talking about religion, then who want to talk
People
about
will
religion?
forget about all these things.
This
They,
is
they will
this
be they'll be trapped in this trap which they have thrown.
So this is what exactly happens, and they maneuver it so dramatically, so cleverly, and if you astutely observe it, you will find it. So next time when any election comes, you just have to look around, specifically in the society where this election has to be held, and you will be able to calculate all those steps, how it happens so cleverly, sequentially, that first the religious issue would be somewhere raised, or the caste issue would be raised, and then both of the parties would be coming each other against each other, and all things happen, and everything is highlighted, and they basically are presented and projected by a large media covering everything as the major concerning issue. And who supports the majority, which means Hindu is a majority in this country. So the political party who supports religions such as Sanatan, such as Hindu Dharma, then obviously will back the vote in majority number and will have a better probability of winning the election. So that's how it happens.
Yeah, correct. Tell me, can a society as deeply spiritual as and diverse? We have seen, we've got spirituality in our country. We have also seen the diversity as well. So tell me, can a society as deeply spiritual and as diverse as India ever, be completely, secular in practice? Is it possible?
Are you asking me, has it ever been, or is it a possibility that could be in future?
In future.
Okay, so see, people call this age as a Kali Yuga. So to be expecting people to be spiritually drowned is unacceptable, because we are already in Kali Yuga, right? And this very process of spiritualizing or elevating on a spiritual ground, I think is somewhere incompatible, because our lifestyle, our objectives, our persuasions are all different and completely opposite to the demands, to the major demands of what basically is required in the process of spiritualizing oneself. Spiritualizing needs what? It requires someone to be patient. It requires someone to be truthful. It requires someone to be courageous. It requires someone to be compassionate. And all these major elements are almost missing in each of us. And rather, we are trying to compete over others, with others, over a different materialistic issues, materialistic, things, goods, whatsoever it is, right? It shows what? That we have become more tilted towards material success rather than spiritual success. So material success, I think, has completely suffocated the entire brain system of current population. And since it has been already suffocated by it, I think it will be really difficult for a person to look or to even appreciate spiritual values. Even a person who practices spiritual values is often treated as someone outlandish, because these things are not accepted in society. For example, have you ever heard a person helping other without having any expectations or any return? Never. But if we even have this experience, we either end up calling that person as fool or as innocent, because we have lost this very value system on which the Vedic age was basically erected, and today we are not. So this is a little difference, but this little difference has now become quite a big in size. Now it appears to be an abysmally bad and I think repellent. So therefore I think it is impossible, according to me, that it is accessible, or even in the near future, people are going to be spiritually elevated. It is impossible.
It is just because even if you go to college, if you go to school, if you go to any place, you will find people talking about money. And then we have seen in the corporate sector that ethics, we are taught ethics and truthfulness,
Yeah,
and they're found in the books only. But if you go to a corporate sector, corporate house, you would find that people are lying around, that they're telling lies to people, they're befooling them, and whatnot.
right.
Right? And because this is how they are making money, and we cannot expect people to be truthful. If they are truthful, then they will not be able to make money, and
Right.
money is the only priority in today's day and age, because this is age of Kali, as you said that, and in this age, we'll find people too much materialistic, and they have no place, no space for spirituality. So expecting people to become spiritually elevated, and this may be only just a dream, and we cannot see such things happening. There may be 1 or 2% out of millions, so that it'll be just like a drop in the ocean.
Right.
That is not going to be, to be very, very beneficial for the
Mhm.
country. The last but not the least is, tell me, in the current political climate, is secularism evolving as a unifying principle or fading into a tool of polarization?
Uh, Being realistic, I would go with the second, scenario,
Mhm.
where spiritualization or spiritual practice, I think, has been, or spirituality has been molded for or by these politicians to meet up with vested interest.
Mhm.
So this is what exactly the reality is. But we only always know that it is not, and it has never been the purpose of spirituality.
Mhm.
Spirituality is for people to help them to meet with, and to meet with the discords arising in their life.
Mhm.
On the one hand, we call this universe as a mysterious place,
Mhm.
and we want to know this mysterious place. Our senses, our reason fall short to understand and grasp this
Mhm.
in totality. And therefore, we have to develop a certain kind of concept, such as God, you can call. But to be devotional, you have to cultivate spirituality in you.
Mhm.
And therefore, spirituality is really, really important, which I think is a far experience for the current people, because the entire society has been molded in a way where materialism has been given utmost priority over spirituality. Moreover, the way success is defined today
Mhm.
in current time holds no value for spirituality. In fact, what you call motivators, and compare these motivators with the motivators lived some thousands years back. For example, Lord Sri Krishna was himself a motivator.
Yeah.
He was talking about dharmic values. He was talking about duties. He was not talking about rights.
Mhm.
So he kept talking about duties. But what we are talking now is only fundamental rights.
Mhm.
And in that fundamental rights, we are so much, you know, uh, into personal rights as to how much you can extract benefits out of these given possibilities, because fundamental right is a possibility for every
Yes.
citizen, right? So this is the problem, and I think this has been a problem for several years. Realism, or realistically, I would say that yes, spirituality has been completely subsided in its from its true effect. And something after what happens when you subvert a certain scripture, or subvert a certain kind of sacred place, what it comes to be almost remnants. So today's spiritual practices only seen as remnant in different people, only at the marginal level, but there is nothing significant about it. Yeah.
So if you want to convey a message, or if
Mm.
you want to tell the audience in
Mm.
1 or 2 lines,
Mm.
whether secularism, has helped India grow, or it has become a kind of hindrance in its progress. So what would you like to say?
See, as I I will say only one thing, that secularism would definitely help India to grow. Unfortunately, secularism has been used to basically put it on a downgrade mode, which means to on a path which is consistently decline. So India is on the mode of falling. It is not on the ascending. So we have to come and understand the rightful purpose of the spiritual as an instrument, spirituality as an instrument, which we have failed. Many people understand it, but they deliberately misuse it out of their, whims and fancies. Mostly politicals do that. So I think we should not do that.
So you simply want to say that secularism is a tool which can have both sides. I mean,
Obviously,
it can help the country grow, or it can also become a hindrance. But it depends on the kind of people and their intentions, who they are, and what kind of things they want to have in their lives, and
right.
how do they want to get benefit from it. They'll be using the secularism in their own way, right?
Yes.
And the result depends on their way of using, right?
It is much like a powerful tool which has the power to construct and to destroy. But it depends on who holds that power. So if one who holds the power is governed by consciousness, pure dharmic value, then he will probably use in the right direction and will use in the constructive manner. Much like a property. When you have a property, much property, would you like to use it as an honor or as a trustship? So when you use it as an honor, so you will only use it for your own purpose, and there'll be no constructive value can be extracted from that earned property. But if you want to use it for the benefit of other, for the large number of people, then you will try to expand its value by doing many investments so that other people could also get benefits, and you can also multiply benefits too. So this is the similar case applied in here, that you have this powerful tool. How do you want to use it? Whether for the welfare of the people or for personal welfare is all your choice.
So there is a saying in Hindi, "Bandar ke haath mein us tarah lag gaya."
Yes, yes.
So if this falls in the hands of those who are irresponsible, it will not create but destroy.
It can give you a nice haircut, but it can also give you a hurt.
Yeah, correct. So with this, I'm gonna wrap this video up, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Till then,
Yeah.
take care.